How's it going, everybody? To a fun review today as we're talking Gladiator II. The journey to get to this point has definitely been an intriguing one. For the longest time, just the sheer thought of them doing a sequel to Gladiator, I was personally against it. The original Gladiator is one of those movies I've always considered a masterpiece, and I don't like to use the word masterpiece all that often. That's even besides the fact that it ended pretty conclusively, so I never really expected them to have a follow-up film. However, as everything slowly came together, the cast, the trailers, can't deny the fact that they at least interested me enough to give it a fair shot. After his home is conquered by the tyrannical emperors who now lead Rome, Lucius is forced to enter the Colosseum and must look to his past to find strength to return the glory of Rome to its people. While I've always considered Ridley Scott to be a fantastic director, a lot of his movies these days, you really do kind of go into them flipping a coin. When his movies work, I think they're fantastic, but honestly, a lot of his more recent efforts have been pretty mixed to not great overall. Gladiator II definitely is one of the best films he's directed in quite a long time, and delivers the type of grand blockbuster spectacle that makes his film so thrilling to witness. The madness that unfolds action-wise is a true feast. These large-scale battles are epic and truly beautiful visually, doing a phenomenal job showcasing the scale and attention to detail down to the Colosseum and the gorgeous costuming. It's the kind of action that hits all the right buttons to really get your adrenaline pumping once the blood-soaked madness is unleashed, whether that be the brutal brawls between gladiators or the completely insane games that we see showcased in the arena with rhinos, baboons, sharks, a whole naval battle inside the Colosseum. Like I said, it's just complete madness that you're watching unfold on screen in these crazy battle sequences. Now, I don't know how legitimate they are as far as historical accuracy. Ridley Scott is one of those directors that is not really that fond of being historically accurate. You gotta remember, this is the same Ridley Scott that had Napoleon shoot cannons at the Great Pyramid and Christian Bale and Joel Edgerton playing Moses and Ramsey in Exodus Gods and Kings. But I can't deny the fact that I was extremely entertained how ridiculously over the top some of this action spectacle was. Outside of the grand brutality inside of the arena, there's also an intriguing political through line mixed within these characters that I found myself particularly engaged with. Besides, of course, the revenge angle being a key factor here, it also touches upon some really interesting themes of power and the system around it to a decent amount of success. Another impeccable detail that makes Gladiator II shine is the exceptional cast they assembled. It's one of my favorite ensembles probably of the entire year to this point, partially due to the fact that there's just so many different powerhouse performances here. Now, this is kind of a small confession, but I always was kind of on the fence about Paul Mescal. Not because I ever thought he was a bad actor or anything. I always thought he was solid in the smaller indie type fare. But I was hesitant on if he could actually make the big leap to action movie star. However, the charisma he showcases here as the lead, I think he does make that transition over into action movie star magnificently. Paul Mescal here is just a true beast as far as the action movie sequences are concerned, while managing to be a completely captivating lead and a compelling gladiator. The deeper we go into his journey of revenge, I didn't feel that same emotional weight as I did with Maximus back in Gladiator. It's slightly unfair to compare him to Russell Crowe's performance as Maximus just because that's one of the greatest captivating performances of all time, but I was still very invested in Lucius overall, even if I found myself loving a lot more of the supporting cast around him. By this point, what hasn't been said about Denzel Washington? He's one of the greatest actors of all time. Here in Gladiator II, he just continues to solidify his legacy with the commanding villainous presence he evokes in this role. Any single time Denzel Washington's on screen in Gladiator II, he is stealing the scene, he's chewing up the scenery while he's doing it, and having immense fun while doing so. It's incredibly entertaining how devious he becomes, as his schemes start to fall into place, doing whatever it takes to gain power and rule Rome. It's the type of show-stopping powerhouse performance that should deeply entrench him into the race for an upcoming Oscar nomination, if not a win. Pedro Pescal and Joseph Quinn, while both of them don't have a ton of screen time in Gladiator II, they really made it count whenever they were on screen. It's been kind of surreal seeing Joseph Quinn's career flourish ever since Stranger Things and just seeing him have such a commanding presence on screen. I think he's quite a great actor. He is wickedly entertaining as one of the two emperors of Rome, playing up these events as a sort of demented playground for his amusement. What really sold me on Pedro Pascal's performance is the depth that he brings to the character. That alone made him far more compelling than I anticipated as this Roman general. It's a great performance, I just wish that he had a bit more screen time overall, because each scene that he's given, he brings so much presence. I loved every scene that he was in. Several of those scenes being with Connie Nielsen, who returns from Gladiator. I was really glad that Connie Nielsen was given a lot more to do in this as a beautiful anchor between Gladiator 1 and 2 with how she factors into the installment. It's inevitable that there's going to be a ton of comparisons between this and the original Gladiator, which I do understand, that's just how it works. It's just tough because Gladiator is a beautiful epic filled with such raw emotion following Maximus's journey. Stuff like that is just really hard to recreate in a sequel. Certainly attempt to inject the same heart and soul in how this story unfolds with Lucius. There for sure are some sequences where you feel something, but the all-around story here I don't think is as strong as the original Gladiator. I mean, let's be real, the ending of the original Gladiator is one of those endings that makes pretty much everybody cry. When Maximus dies and gets to see his family again as Hans Zimmer's score playing beautifully in the background. Even to this day when I rewatch Gladiator, once we get to that ending, I'm just a big ball of tears by the end. That wasn't really the case for Gladiator 2, although there are some moments in here that will certainly pull on your heartstrings. Honestly, I kind of wish that the movie deviated a bit more, because there's a couple times in Gladiator 2 where it's trying to do different things than the original, and those were some of the strongest moments, as opposed to when it's just trying to be Gladiator again. Gladiator 2 is a pretty fantastic companion to the original Gladiator. Ridley Scott managed to deliver a grandiose new epic that's got all the right ingredients to be a crowd-pleasing experience. While I don't think it reaches the same heights as the original Gladiator, I do think that if you enjoy the original, you're gonna have a pretty good time with this one as well. And that's coming from someone that was slowly won over at there even being a sequel whatsoever. For so long, it just felt like blasphemy to have any sort of follow-up to Gladiator. Now, Gladiator 3, if we're talking about getting another Gladiator after this one, I think I'd also be on the fence about that as well. But, you know, maybe I'll get won over again by Ridley Scott. Of course, too, there's the whole fact that they're trying to do another Barbenheimer-style event with both Gladiator 2 and Wicked coming out the same day. I'm very curious if that'll actually give either film a boost at the box office, or it's not gonna really do anything. Are you one of those people planning on seeing both Gladiator 2 and Wicked opening weekend? Either way, once you get a chance to check out Gladiator 2, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the film? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? As always, thank you guys so much for checking out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like on the video and also subscribe to the channel to update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.